now let's welcome the Dons of University of San Diego High School, Men's Division III. Number 1, Dane Oldham. Number 4, Chris Cooper. Number 2, Frank Sanfilippo. Number 8, Anthony Filipponi. Number 5, Kevin Meissner. Number 9, Alex Rock. Number 16, Matt Lassie. Number 17, Robbie Diaz. Number 18, Nick McNate Alfred. Number 21, Brian Wilson Kutska. And now, accepting the plaque. As Men's Division III, congratulations to the 1999 Men's Division III co-champs, the Dons and the Buccaneers.
You're going to start.
Go give it to him.
Hello and welcome to Torrey Pines High School, where we have the CIF 1999 Girls Division III final game between the University Dons, who are all in red, and the La Jolla Vikings, who are in the white shirts and the black trunks. I'm David Goldberg with Georgia Langevin Productions, and we're happy to have you along here in Championship Saturday. We pick up action at midfield, where ball will have our first throw-in of the game. It's going to go over to the Vikings. It's going to be Rochelle Snyder with that. She's going to defer to her teammate Kelly Guzik. In goal is going to be Audra Sullivan for the Vikings. In goal for the Dons is going to be Danielle Ralston in the first half. Ball is headed back by Aaliyah Kirch. Ball's hit back down, chased down by Caswell of the Vikings. Into the play is Kohnkamp. Kohnkamp cannot save it and will roll out of play. Ball will go over to White. We play 40-minute halves. And this is for the 1999 Girls Division III final. Here is the throw-in for the Vikings. Ball deflects off two players' heads there, taken by Allison Gumbar of the Dons. Chase down. Oh, players hit the deck there. Big collision there as Sarah Bruch, the captain, she went down in a heap, but she seems to be okay, and she's getting up with the assistance of teammate Alana Vinograd. The coach for the La Jolla Vikings is Daniel Vinograd. And the coach for the University Dons is Don Lee. Kicked by number 7, that is Aaliyah Kirch. Headed out nicely by 21, that's Stephanie Gray of the Dons. Ball's chased down now by Marissa Poland. And ball's going to deflect off red, off of Kirsten Kohnkamp. So it'll be a throw-in for the Vikings. We're scoreless here in the first opening minutes of this championship game. It's a very cool Saturday afternoon in early March. We've had some spots of rain. The field condition is not all that terrific. There are some spots where the field is very soft, and players in the first game were literally falling quite a bit, so we'll see how the field holds up throughout today's game. The mood is quieted down here as we had a thrilling double overtime game just covered. And many of the fans have left from that, so the mood has somewhat softened. But I'm sure as this game picks up, we'll have similar emotions on either side. Nice play there by Guzik and Crandall. giving a good give and go back to one another. Maddie Tantillo with it. Into the play comes Stephanie Gray. She's got it, but she can't save it before it goes out of play, so it'll be a throw-in for the Vikings. It's going to be thrown in by the Vikings on the far side. Stephanie Gray hits it up and off of Rochelle Snyder. Gray will throw it in. Ball is headed back, taken by Alana Vinograd. But we'll roll out of play, so we'll have another throw-in for the University Dons, who are in all red. Again, the La Jolla Vikings in the white shirts and the black trunks. Ball rolls out. We'll have another throw-in. It is worth mentioning that the University Dons have appeared in 8 consecutive CIF championship games. That is remarkable. They have won 8 consecutive times, which is even more remarkable. And they have beat the University. Check that the last time the La Jolla Vikings played the University Dons, they beat them 2 times in a row. So the La Jolla Vikings are looking to upset the Dons here in this championship game and end their streak at of 8 consecutive championships. So quite a storyline here with this game. Pick up action with the Dons controlling. Ball is taken by Colleen Fogarty, the captain of the Dons, but she can't handle it. It'll go out of play. It'll be a throw-in for the Vikings. We are scoreless with about 5 minutes gone in this first half of play. 40-minute halves. Here's going to be a throw-in taken by Kelly Guzik of the Vikings. It's taking time. I'm not sure what we're waiting on. Oh, we're waiting on a player tying their shoe. Now it's done. That was Haley Caswell. Pick up action again. We'll have a throw-in for the Dons. So the Dons deep in Viking territory, trying to get on the board first. Trying to run their consecutive championship streak to 9 years running are the Dons. Here's a big booming kick, goes all the way towards net and handled nicely. That kick was on net by Alyssa Terrell and handled by the goalkeeper of the Vikings. That is Audra Sullivan. Ooh, players battling for it there. We're going to have a whistle on foul on Angela Chagas of the Dons, so it'll go over to the Vikings on a free kick. It'll be taken by Lindsay Green. Here's Green's kick. Deflected back and taken by Catherine Kinsell. With it now is Kristen Kohnkamp. Kohnkamp. Oh, 2 players collide there. Big collision. The first game we did was very physical. This game is turning to be just the same. These players are falling all over the place, running into each other, trying for an edge, competing. Stepping up into the play nicely is Haley Caswell for the Vikings, and the ball goes deep into Don territory where it's kicked back out into Viking territory. With it is Kristen Kohnkamp sent back in. Ball is headed. Ball still in play, but we're going to have a whistle. Looks like there's going to be a foul call. Was a push by the Vikings. Looked like that push is going to be called against Aaliyah Kirch. So we're going to have a free kick at the spots of the Dons now with a terrific opportunity here in the early going to break on the board. Here's the kick. Deflected. Comes back out to the Jolla Vikings. They're deciding who's going to take it. Finally, it goes to Maddie Tantillo. And now we'll have another throw-in. As I said before, it had been raining. We're still getting a few scattered smatterings here and there, as it's an overcast day on this Saturday in March. Dons throw it in. We are scoreless with about 9 minutes gone unofficially here in this first 40-minute half. With it is Rochelle Snyder. Little give and go. That's Crandall alone. She's got it, working against two Dons players. She can't get a shot off, though, before the ball's taken away from her, but her teammate, Sarah Bruce, gets it. Sends it over to Marissa Poland. Marissa working. She's trying to get a shot at it. Her shot's going to go wide and result in a goal kick. We are scoreless with about 9 minutes gone. Goal kick is going to be taken by the Dons' Laura McKinnon. Check that. That's going to be Angela Billings, the sweeper, taking that. Didn't see the one in front of that 7. She is number 17. So Billings with that goal kick. Headed high into the air around midfield. Dons trying to corral it, get control. They do. Goes over to the near sideline to Colleen Fogarty, the captain. Fogarty, though, is taken off the ball nicely by two La Jolla defenders, Guzik and Snyder. Ball will go out of play. It'll be a throw-in for the Dons. It's thrown by Colleen Fogarty. Comes back to Fogarty. She sends it high into the air towards the far side. Ball is headed, but towards the far sideline, and where it will be kept in play nicely by the Vikings. Vikings trying to turn the ball upfield where it goes into Rochelle Snyder. Snyder with it. She's got some room. She's got some space. She sends it in. Here comes the goalkeeper, and she'll get there before the charge by Maddie Tantillo. The goalkeeper of the Dons in this first half is Danielle Rolston. So Rolston with really a nice play there. Check that, Danielle Ralston. Ball thrown in the far sideline. Ball is kicked high and goes towards the near side of the field where it's chased down by the La Jolla Vikings' Rochelle Snyder. She can't get there. It was a nice effort, though, so it'll be a throw-in for the Dons. Ball goes into Billings, but we'll do it again. Going to be a throw-in for Angela Chagas of the Dons. Vikings send it high into the air, headed where it's charged in by Tantillo. Tantillo can't get there. It's swept out by the Dons. Dons, Stephanie Gray has it. She sends it down the far sideline where Kristen Kohnkamp gives chase. But with it is Aaliyah Kirch, gets there first. We'll let the ball roll out of play and we'll throw it in. Throws it in over the head of Haley Caswell, but it goes to a teammate, that is Marissa Poland. They'll throw it in at that far side. These fans so far are quiet. Quite a contrast to that first game we had where there was quite a bit of emotion on both sides. Here's Haley Caswell with a long ball attempt, trying to set Crandall on a break. And the ball is just sent out of bounds by Billings, the sweeper, so it'll be a throw-in for the Vikings. A throw-in will be taken by Kelly Guzik. Guzik throws it into Snyder. Snyder gets a shove, though, twice, and she's called. That's Angela Chagas gets called. It'll be free kick at the spot. Looks like Kelly Guzik will take it. She puts it in play to Snyder. Snyder with it. Does a nice move, trying to turn the corner, trying to center the ball. She does, and it's caught nicely by the goalkeeper, Danielle Ralston. Ball is kicked high into the air. Headed nicely by the Vikings, but that header will go out of play. So it'll be a throw-in for the Dons. We're still scoreless. About 13 minutes gone here in this first half. Catherine Kinsell with the throw-in. Stepping up into the play is Alyssa Terrell. Ball's hit high into the air, headed nicely by Victoria Crandall. Ball goes over the head of Chagas where Snyder shields Chagas away from trying to save that ball, so it'll be a throw-in for the Vikings. Ball rolls off the leg of Snyder and out of place, so it'll be a throw-in for the Dons now. It's going to be taken by Chagas. Chagas throws it in to Gumbar. Spank back ahead. Will be a throw-in again for the Vikings. His pace is kind of choppy here in the early going. Not sure if it's nerves, but either team without a real legitimate scoring opportunity. I guess the Vikings had the best one thus far, but we remain scoreless in this championship game, girls Division III final. We pick up action where the ball rolls out of play again. We'll have another throw-in. Ball is going to be thrown in by Angela Billings, the sweeper of the Dons. Nice strong throw-in by Angela. Ball goes deep, and we're going to have a whistle call, though. It's going to go against the Vikings, so the possession will stay with the Dons. And we'll see what happens here. It's going to be a free kick at the spot of the foul taken by, looks like it's going to be Melinda Haffey, one of the captains of the University Dons, along with Colleen Fogarty. Here is her kick. Sent over the wall towards the net and handled by the keeper, Audra Sullivan. Here's Audra's kick. Nice high kick. Ball deflects, goes to midfield where La Jolla cannot retain possession. Ball bounces down. La Jolla trying to maintain possession. They do, trying to send Snyder on a break. Rochelle has it, but the ball deflects and it will go off of Snyder, I believe, and it will result in a... We pick up action now where there's a shot towards net. Oh, and the ball gets through the goalkeeper and rolls out of bounds. It will result in a goal kick. A goal kick as Snyder sent it in for the Vikings, sending a teammate in on a break. The goalkeeper, Ralston, came out, did not handle the ball. Both players missed and the ball rolled past the end line there. So result in a goal kick taken by Angela Billings. We are still scoreless unofficially, about 18 minutes gone here in this first half. Ball is kicked towards the near sideline towards us, but I don't think anybody's going to get there, and nobody will. So they'll have a throw-in for the La Jolla Vikings. The majority of the play thus far has been in the Dons' side of the field, but has not resulted in any goal for the Vikings. We're going to have a whistle. What's the call? A whistle's going to, looks like it's going to go against the Vikings. It's going to go against Maddie Tentillo, and it will result in a free kick at the spot of the foul for the Dons. So the University Dons, their partners in high school, their boys Division III, came out co-champions earlier today, tying Mission Bay 1-1. After the foul, the free kick's going to go to Melinda Haffey. Here's Melinda's free kick. Challenged by the Vikings, handled there by 9. That's Alana Vinograd. Vinograd sends it across to Marissa Poland. Poland with it, worked against by Stephanie Gray. The ball will roll out of play. So the Vikings will throw it in at that spot. We are still scoreless. Throw-in finally comes down, but right to the Dons. Sent towards midfield, but again, breaking into the play are the Vikings. Dons get to it first, though, and we're going to have another foul call. Referee's called a lot of fouls here. Indefinite contrast to the last game we saw, where the referee let the two teams play, and subsequently we saw a lot of physical play. Here is the free kick taken by Billings. Nice header there by Green, Lindsey Green for the Vikings. She comes back into the play and heads it again. No call there. The ball will roll out of play. La Jolla Vikings really love the hustle shown by Green there. That gets the crowd rolling. That's what we need. This is a championship game. We've seen little emotion thus far. Oh, there's a shove, no call. Vikings will retain possession as Vinograd is challenged and taken off the ball. Sent down, intercepted though by Guzik. Guzik still working, but Fogarty gets it away to Kinsell. Kinsell with it. He's got some time and space, sends it towards the back line, and then out of play by the Vikings. Nice job. We'll have a throw-in where we're still scoreless. Throw-in's going to be taken by Angela Chagas. The referee says, over there, throw it in a little bit closer than where you were. It's going to be deferred to Melinda Haffey. Here's Haffey's throw-in. Rolls out of bounds again after a header. We're under 20 minutes to go in this first half of play. Haffey's going to take the throw-in again. Ball is thrown in. Vikings converge, send it back out where it's handled by Crandall. Crandall sends it up ahead, but intercepted by the Dons. Stephanie Gray. Gray sends it back to the sweeper, Billings. Billings sends it over to Terrell, but intercepted is Crandall. Crandall now trying to make a go of it. She can't before she's taken off the ball by Billings, where it's sent back towards midfield. Into the play comes Snyder. Snyder working again. Snyder bullying herself against Chagas. Nice battle there. She comes out with it. Beautiful pass over to 16, Bruce. Bruce with it. But her pass doesn't get through Gray. Gray sends it back up. And there's a push there, and now that will call it. Got to call that. That was Allison Gumbar on the foul. The Vikings get the ball played in right away. And a collision, deflection, ball will roll out, will result in a throw-in. It's going to be thrown in by number 2. That's going to be Kelly Guzik.
Into the game for the Vikings, number 6, Alexa Lawson-Reamer.
For the Vikings
Out comes Sarah Brush.
is Lawson-Reamer comes in for the Vikings, and out comes Sarah Brush. Ball comes in to Crandall. Crandall with it. She's got some room. Sends it towards the net. Oh, and a little squirmy shot there. Goes into the waiting arms of the goalkeeper, Ralston. Ball deflected high into the air nicely there by the Vikings, and it will roll out of play. Will result in another throw-in. We are still scoreless as Haley Nordmarken comes in, or chucks it to her teammate, Kelly Guzik. For the throw-in. Here's a throw-in by Guzik. We'll do it again. Taken there by number 9. That is Alana Vinograd, but her shot goes through the back line for a goal kick. We're still tied at 0. Goal kick will be taken again by the sweeper, Angela Billings. Ball is sent back towards the far sideline and out of play will result in a throw, and it's going to be taken there by Haley Caswell. Caswell sends it into Poland. Poland working against Stephanie Gray. Gray sends it out again, so they'll do the throw-in all over again. Ball will go off of Stephanie Gray. She couldn't corral that inbound, and it'll result in a first corner kick of the game, I believe, and it'll go over to the Vikings. Looks like, I believe it's going to be Maddie Tentillo taking it. She defers to a teammate. Trying to do a little give and go with Tantillo, but it doesn't work as Gray did a nice defensive job there and intercepted that play. Nevertheless, it'll be a throw in a little bit further out. It'll be thrown in by Haley Caswell. She kicks it into Vinograd, but the ball goes off of her and out of play, and it'll go over to the Dons. So kind of a quiet first half thus far. Not too many offensive opportunities. Each team playing very conservatively and playing solid defensively. La Jolla's Aaliyah Kirch steps up into the play to relieve the pressure there. Sends it back out to Tantillo, who does a nice job of kicking it behind her, trying to get her teammate, Lawson Reamer, but she was unable to connect. Lawson Reamer now working against Chagas. Will result in a handball, and it will go over to the Dons on a free kick. We are at Torrey Pines High in Del Mar, California for Championship Saturday, where we have the Girls Division III Final here for you. CIF 1999 Championship game, where we have the La Jolla Vikings versus the University Dons. The Dons are in all red, the Vikings in the white shirts and the black trunks. Thus far, we have no score. We have unofficially about 15 minutes left in this 40-minute half. I'm David Goldberg with Georgia Langevin Productions. We're happy to have you here. Here's the kick. Goes high into the air. Headed. Handled by Poland. Poland racing down. Going to be charged there by Gombar of the University Dons and sent out of play. So it'll be another throw-in for the La Jolla Vikings. And we have a whistle, and we'll do it again, throwing for the Dons now. Check that a free kick as it was a foul called. Will be taken by Stephanie Gray. Ghost Gray kicks it to Allison Gumbar. Gumbar couldn't handle it, though, and it'll roll out of play, so it'll be another throw-in here for the Vikings. Play has been choppy thus far. A lot of throw-ins, a lot of whistles. Here's a throw-in. Goes all the way back past midfield. Ball rolls loose now. Don's trying to get there. That's Allison Gombar working against Lindsey Green. And two Viking players come and make sure that ball goes out of play without any further damage. But nevertheless, the University Dons will have a throw-in from that. Here is 14. It's going to be taken by Melinda Haffey. Ball's going to go out of the way. And a sponsor of this game is Power Bar, and they are passing out free Power Bars to all the fans in attendance. Not a bad deal. Ball is deflected out of play. Where do we have? We have a corner. We do have a corner. First corner kick of the game for the University Dons. Colleen Fogarty with the corner for the Dons. Ball goes all the way through. Gray came across to try and tap it in, but she couldn't get there in time. Went past her. Ball rolls over to Rochelle Snyder. Snyder's got some time and space. She sends it up ahead to her teammate Crandall. Crandall with it. Turning, sending it over. Not a very powerful pass. Nevertheless, it'll get to her intended target, Lawson Reamer, who sends it deep into the corner to Snyder. Snyder tries to center it, and oh, her crossing pattern goes into the side of the net, which will result in a goal kick for the Dons. It's going to be taken here by Billings. And this ball will roll out of play. We'll have another corner for the La Jolla Vikings. They're trying to break on through here. We're scoreless with about 10.5 minutes to go in this first half of play. Near corner kick taken. Last time the Vikings did a little give and go. See if they do the same thing again. Looks like this time they'll just take the legitimate corner. Ball is loose, up into the air, still in the box. But the Dons come out with it. The ball is deflected off of after Kinsell hits it. Vikings do a nice job of tapping it back to their defenders, where Aaliyah Kirch has a touch. Ball goes all the way past, and it looks like we might have a breakaway. Oh, nicely done. Colleen Fogarty came through, got a foot on it. She didn't get too much on it, though, and the goalkeeper, Audra Sullivan, was able to handle that easily. Ball goes high and up in the air. And it will go over to the far sideline and roll out of play. So a throw-in at the far sideline. And we'll do it again. Under 10 minutes to go here in this first half of play. We are still scoreless. La Jolla Vikings trying to break out on top. As I mentioned earlier, the University Dons have won an unprecedented 8 consecutive CIF Division III championships in a row. They are bidding for their 9th. La Jolla, on the other hand, has beaten University the last 2 times they played, so they definitely want to do it here, where they will dethrone the reigning champions and bring their own championship to La Jolla. Big push in the back now. Chagas gets called for it. Chagas has been physical this far. Playing hard. So the ball goes over to Lindsey Green. Green's free kick is headed out nicely by the Dons. But it comes back. La Jolla has got it, and they've got some numbers. With it is Snyder. Snyder turning, trying to center it. She does, but it goes beyond Tantillo, and the ball is kicked out by Haffey of the Dons. Ball rolls all the way into Viking territory. Will it roll out of play? And they will throw it in there. Ball is kicked high into the air, goes all the way back to Billings, the sweeper. She's the last line of defense there, but she handles it without problems, but sent back in by the Vikings. In about the last 10 minutes or so, the Vikings have pretty much maintained possession of the ball and control the pace. Nevertheless, they have been unable to break through. There has not been really any legitimate scoring chances on either side thus far. Here's Billings' free kick. Ball is still loose and rolls back towards midfield. And sent back in. Attempt for Victoria Crandall is racing it down. Here comes the goalkeeper, Ralston, out, who handles it. Her kick is going to land around midfield. No, it's going to roll out of play. So it'll go to a throw-in for the Vikings' Kelly Guzik. Here's Guzik, goes off of Chagas' leg of the Dons and sent back deep by the Dons again. We'll have another throw-in. We're still scoreless. Throw-in is going to be done by Guzik. She throws it to her teammate Snyder, who heads it towards the Dons net, but it goes back. Kicked back in nicely by Aaliyah Kirch. Chased down by Stephanie Gray. Gray in the far sideline, still chasing, still running, working against Lawson Reamer. Ball is loose in the box, and the attempt by Colleen Fogarty, the captain, kind of went off of her shin and went high and wide, will result in a goal kick for the Vikings. Goal kick's going to be taken by Aaliyah Kirch. Team's battling for it. The Dons come out with it. Oh, but stepping up into the play nicely is Caswell. who does a nice job of thwarting the progress of the Dons. So we'll have a throw-in for the Dons on the far sideline. Thrown in. That is Kinsell working against Poland. And we'll do it again. Unofficially, about 5 minutes left to go in this first half of play. We're still scoreless. Here's the throw-in for the Dons. High throw-in, ball is still loose. Still loose, shot attempt gets through. Gray is right there, but her shot attempt is blocked. Wow, Vikings doing a nice job there, relieving the pressure, as the Dons had a couple cracks at net, but ball did not get through because of defense. So we remain scoreless, where the Vikings, Haley Caswell will throw it in. Ball hit high into the air. Ball's going to be thrown in by the Vikings. Goes past midfield. Headed right back in, though, by the Dons. Chased down by Kristen Kohnkamp. Kohnkamp now loses the ball. Rochelle Snyder there. Trips and falls. Fogarty has it. She sends it across, but there's going to be a yellow card issued to Rochelle Snyder for that hard tackle. So Snyder's going to come off because of that yellow card. And they've got to send somebody in. It looks like Yvette Villa is going to come in.
Out of the game, number 5, Kristen Moran. Into the game, number 13, Katie Hess.
Hess comes into the game for the Dons as 15 Moran leaves the game.
Out of the game, number 5, Rochelle Snyder. Into the game, number 13, Yvette Villa.
Scoring attempt high and wide. Stephanie Gray on the left side kind of mishit it, and the ball went high and wide. Check that. For the Vikings, Snyder does come out in favor of number 13, Yvette Villa.
For La Jolla, into the game, number 5, Rochelle Snyder. Out comes Yvette Villa.
Check that. We just did it again. Looks like Snyder came out for the yellow card, then went right back in. Here's the goal kick. Headed back in by Kohnkamp. Vikings trying to relieve the pressure. McKinnon. Check that. Kirch with it. Kicked it out towards midfield. Vikings have it. Goes through Chagas' legs. Chased down by the Vikings. With it is Crandall. Crandall, though, gives it up in favor of Chagas. Ball will roll out of play. Will result in the Vikings throw-in. So the Vikings are able to relieve the pressure. First really sustained pressure by the Dons thus far this game. And we'll have a throw-in in the Dons side of the field. Will be thrown in by Kelly Guzik. Comes out to Caswell. Caswell sends it into Guzik. Her shot over the net. Beautiful shot there by Crandall. That's the best shot we've seen. Check that. That was Guzik. Beautiful shot by Guzik. Just a little too deep. Will result in a goal kick for the Dons. So we remain scoreless unofficially. About just a little over a minute left in this first half. Here's Billings with the goal kick. Ball's deflected towards midfield. And rolls out of play. Nice hustle, though, there by the far sideline by Haley Caswell of the Vikings. It's going to be a throw into the spot. Looks like Stephanie Gray is going to take it. Coming into the play. Wow, it's collision there as number 7, Aaliyah Kirch, flies into the play. And it will result in a throw-in for the Vikings. Kind of a slow-paced first half here, choppy. Each team kind of taking their turns controlling the offensive play. And we've just had our first couple legitimate scoring chances in the last few minutes. Players battle for it at midfield. Each team working very hard. We're going to have a foul called. It's going to be called on Green, and it will result in a free kick at the spot for the Dons. Number 14 is Melinda Haffey, getting up a little slow and walking very gingerly. She might be hurt. She seems to be okay and stays in the game. Here's the free kick. Hit to Gray. Gray's header goes towards the other side of the net, and there's some goalie interference there. There's got to be a yellow card on that, no? I guess they'll call nothing. We'll just call it a foul. Gray did a nice job of heading it over to the other side of the net, trying to hit Melinda Haffey, or check that. She was trying to hit Colleen Fogarty, the other captain. And that whistle signifies the end of the first half of play, where it's the La Jolla Vikings 0 and the University Dons 0. We'll be back in a few moments for second half action.
University of San Diego High School Dons 0.
We are just about ready for second half action, and we're underway. The La Jolla Vikings and the University Dons played 40 minutes of the second half, or excuse me, 40 minutes of the first half without scoring. So we are scoreless, and we pick up action here in the second half. Play in the first half, as I said, was a bit choppy, a lot of whistles, a lot of throw-ins, and only until the latter stages of the first half did each team get a decent scoring opportunity. Pick up action now. The teams have switched sides. Shot on net is wide, and it looks like we have an injured La Jolla Viking player. She is hurt bad, as the referee immediately went over to her and whistles trainers for each team to come out. So we're going to have an injury timeout, and we'll get more information on that as soon as we have it. So it appears as if Alana Vinograd was hurt on the play, but she's coming off under the help of her father, Daniel Vinograd, and in comes a substitute for her is Alexa Lawson-Reamer. So looks like Vinograd is okay. She'll probably be back. We'll have a corner kick for the Dons. Here's the corner. Ball goes through everybody and goes out of play. It'll be a throw-in for the Vikings. Here's a throw-in now. Nicely done by Maddie Tentillo. Ball gets through, taken away though by Alyssa Terrell. Sends it back to her defenders. Ball sent back ahead, chased down by Lindsay Green. Green now, chased by Allison Gombar. Goes off of Gombar and out of play. Have a throw-in. Looks like we're about to get another substitution, and into the game comes Vinograd, so she's okay, and out comes Lawson-Reamer. So just a few minutes to get herself back in order. She's back.
And Alexa Lawson-Reamer is out.
Ball is now thrown in. And we pick up action at the far sideline. Ball goes off of the shins of Crandall. It'll be a throw-in for the Dons, Catherine Kinsell. It's going to be thrown in at the far sideline. We're still scoreless, about 4 minutes in here, the second half. Ball is kicked back by number 4, that is Colleen Fogarty. Comes back out, given to Stephanie Gray. Gray had a very solid first half. But here comes the check that La Jolla Vikings with it. Ball stolen away. With it now is Tentillo. She sends it down to Snyder, but Snyder just can't get there. And the ball will roll out of play. That would have been a nice opportunity for the Vikings, but it goes by the wayside, so we'll have a throw-in for the Dons. So the Dons will throw it in. It's going to be chucked in there by Billings, the sweeper. She's had a busy first half. Kicked out now, goes off the side of her foot. That is Haffey, and we're going to have a bump foul call on Stephanie Gray. So went against Marissa Poland. So we'll have a free kick at the spot of the foul, be taken by Maddie Tentillo. So La Jolla Vikings trying to break through here. Second half action. Here's Maddie's kick. Headed out nicely by the Dons, but the ball gets sent back in though. Vinograd with a touch on it, but it went past everybody and past the end line for a goal kick. We'll have a goal kick now. Taken by Billings. Ball is headed up by Vinograd, gets a touch. Sent back in deep though, where Kohnkamp is in, being chased by Haley Caswell. Caswell hits out of bounds to be a throw-in for the Dons. Stephanie Gray will throw it in. Gray throws it in to Gombar. Ball sent back towards midfield where Tentillo has a head touch, does a nice job, corrals it, looking for a teammate, looking for help. She sends it across, goes through Emily Gumbar, but Marissa Poland was not there to get it. Now Snyder working against the Dons. Ball rolls out to midfield. With it there is Sarah Brush. Ball goes over to Marissa Poland. Marissa tries to corral it. She does, sends it across nicely to Haley Caswell. Caswell's got some room, but she is taken out the ball. No, she continues after it's deflected to herself. Oh, but she can't handle it. She dribbles it a little too far. Nice effort there, and it'll go out of play. So we'll have a throw-in at that spot for the Dons. Here's the throw-in. Ball blasted high into the air. Goes towards the far side of the field where Kinsell gives chase against Guzik. Ball is sent up ahead. Players pushing and shoving on one another. Ball will roll out of bounds. Will be throw-in for the Dons as Gumbar loses control. Ball is thrown in. Kicked high into the air. Chased down and corralled by the Dons. They've got the ball in the box. Chased down by Kohnkamp. Kohnkamp working against Kirch. She sends it towards net, but past everybody, towards the near sideline and out of play. So it'll be a throw-in. University Dons now are having a nice job doing getting some offensive opportunities going. Ball is hit towards out of play. I got these rowdy fans here. Ball is going to be thrown in by the Vikings. Headed nicely by Snyder. Goes all the way into Haffey. Whistle call. Going to have a foul. Didn't see it. Will be a free kick at the spot for number 14. That's Melinda Haffey, one of the captains of the Dons. Ball is thrown in now. It's in the box. University trying to get a shot on net. It is wide off the shot of Haffey. Haffey had some nice wood on that ball, so to speak, but it went wide. So it resulted in the goal kick for the Vikings. Our score remains 0-0. Just about 9 minutes gone here in the second half of play. Ball is sent in play. Headed nicely by Kirch. Headed back, though, by the Dons' Allison Gumbar. Ball is deflected, goes back towards the net. Here comes a goalkeeper, handled by Audra Sullivan. We have a new keeper for the University Dons in this second half. It's Katie Hess. is the second half keeper, replacing Danielle Ralston. So we're going to have a whistle, and we're going to have a free kick at the spot of that whistle for number 14, Melinda Haffey. Haffey's lining it up, trying to set her troops up. Ball is headed out nicely by the Vikings. Goes all the way to Poland. Poland saves it from going out of bounds. She sends it over to Snyder. Snyder with it, sends it up to Brush, but the ball is pounded back in by the Dons, headed back out by the Vikings. Ball is rolling towards the far sideline and out of play, so it'll be a throw-in for University Dons. University has gotten some control of the offense here in the second half. We're still scoreless. Ball is headed out nicely to Sarah Brush. Ball deflects off of a Don player and out of play. This time it'll go over to the Vikings for a throw-in. Ball gets past two players there. Don's Catherine Kinsell heads it up in the air. Then a touch by Melinda Haffey. Haffey again. Push there, no call. Ball's handled by Snyder. Chased down by Brush of the Vikings. Oh, and she is just hammered. I don't know. There's no whistle call, but that seemed deserving of a yellow. Nevertheless, none given. There'll be a free kick at the spot of the foul. Foul was done by Emily Gumbar. Chased down. Handled by the Vikings. Kicked by Caswell. Deflects off of Caswell, though, goes off of Caswell into Cone Camp, and they give each other a bump walking past each other. Taken by Snyder. Snyder with it. She's got some space. She does a beautiful move inside. She's trying to center the ball. She sends it back out. The Vikings did a nice job there, but defensed nicely by the Dons, and it will result in a throw-in at the far sideline for the Vikings. Ball is kicked high into the air. Chased down by Caswell. Caswell working against the Dons' Allison Gumbar. With it now was Lindsey Green. Green sends it across, headed up into the air by Gray, and the ball will roll out of play, so it'll be a throw-in, and it will go over to the Dons. So we are about 13 minutes here into the second half, where we're still scoreless. Be thrown in by Emily Gumbar. Taken by Lindsey Green. Does a nice little go. Can she get there? No. The attempt to hit Marissa Poland was a little too far for her. So we'll have a throw-in for the Dons. Our last game went into overtime, and it looks like this one could be going there as well, as we are still scoreless with about 27 minutes left in the second half of play. Oh, big collision there, and we're going to have a throw-in for the Vikings. Collision there. Tantillo just ran into Billings there. Physicality this game is picking up. Haley Caswell with it. High into the air. It looked like number 8, Allison Gumbar, took a head, and she is hurt, walking around kind of trying to gather herself. She looks to be okay. She's still running, trying to get in position. She is hurting, though. Ball goes to Kristen Kohnkamp. Kohnkamp sends it to midfield, but Kelly Guzik is there to send it right back to Stephanie Gray. Gray heads it to Kohnkamp, and Kohnkamp can't save it before it goes out of play. We'll have a throw-in for La Jolla. Marissa Poland with it, and goes off of Stephanie Gray, so it'll be another throw-in for the Vikings. Ball heads high into the air and out of play. Ball headed out by the Dons. Working is Guzik trying to come in, and she gets called for the foul, though, and being over-aggressive, but nice charge anyway. Goes out to Kinsell. Kinsell with it. She sends it high into the air, trying to hit her teammate Gumbar, but the ball will go out of play as we remain scoreless. Will be a throw-in at the far sideline for the Vikings. Ball sent back to Haley Caswell, chasing it down. Goes past Stephanie Gray. Oh, 3 players collide for it there, and what's the call? The referee says it went off of a Viking player, so the Dons will throw it in at that spot. Here's a throw-in by Haffey. Comes back to Haffey. She sends it over to the far side of the field where it's headed by a Viking and into Alana Vinograd. Vinograd sends it up to midfield where it's headed back by Gombar, but the ball is contained and handled by the Vikings, who are making a charge up the field. That is Crandall, I believe. Yes, it is. Crandall still working with it, but the ball is finally taken away by a Don defender. And Vinograd comes back into the play, sends it over to Snyder. Snyder with it, but she has the ball taken away from her just for the meantime as Emily Gumbar's kick goes out of play. So it'll be a throw-in at that spot for the Vikings. Will result in Don ball. Ball's thrown into the air. 3 Viking players are waiting for it there. Comes down to Vinograd. She's got it. Working against Haffey. Going to Brush. Brush sends it towards net where it's chased down and caught by the goalkeeper, Katie Hess. Ball is hit back down towards the Viking goal, and the goalkeeper is out of the net. The goal is open, but the ball is deflected nicely by the defender of La Jolla. Didn't see who that was, but it was a convergence of a number of defenders, and they got the ball out of there as the keeper came way out of the net. That was Audra Sullivan. Try and get that. She couldn't, but her defense saved her on that play. Ooh, nice tackle there by Snyder as she took Gray off the ball, so Gray will throw it in at that spot. Ball is going to be thrown in now. Taken by Gray. Gray's got it. She centers it over to Fogarty. Ball comes back out, though, to Snyder. Snyder has it. She sends it up ahead to Brush. Sarah Brush now. Ball goes past midfield, but there is Billings again, who sends it over to her teammate on the far side, Angela Chagas. Chagas with it now. With some time, with some space, she centers it. Hits Kohnkamp right in the chest. Ball comes down to Haffey. Haffey trying to get a shot on net. She doesn't get too much on it. Ball is corralled by Poland. Poland's going to get it out of there. Nice play by Poland. She sends it over to Tantillo. Tantillo has it, sends it towards midfield, but again, there's Billings to intercept it and send it right back in. Sent back high and out again towards midfield. Comes down to Tantillo, but she is intercepted, and the ball comes back down where Chagas is giving chase with Crandall behind her. Chagas with it. Sends it out of play. It'll be a throw-in for the Vikings. We are still scoreless with about 19 minutes gone here in the second half of play. La Jolla Vikings and University Dons in the Girls Division III CIF Final. Ball is sent back towards midfield. Stephanie Gray doing a nice job heading it a couple times. Gets it over to Kohnkamp working against Caswell. She's able to withstand the pressure by Caswell and send it out towards midfield where the Dons are controlling it. Ensley with it now. She gets past a defender of the Vikings. Ensley with it now, still racing. She's going to try to center it. She can't do it before it's headed out by Lindsey Green. Nice play there by Green to save the centering pass attempt. So the Vikings have it now, and they've got some space. Sent back in where it'll be handled by Gumbar. Gumbar sends it in where it's going to be taken by Vinograd. Vinograd, though, his pass is taken away by Haffey. Haffey sends it deep where it's going to go into the arms of the goalkeeper, Audra Sullivan. Collision there, and there was no call, even though the La Jolla faithful were screaming for a foul call. Will roll all the way back to deep into their own territory where Haley Caswell will get it, and it will go off of Kristen Kohnkamp for a throw-in. Caswell with a throw-in. She sends it into Poland. Poland sends it back to Caswell, who hits a high ball, headed nicely behind her by Tantillo. It goes right to Crandall. Crandall with it. Nice job to get there is Snyder. Snyder with some time. She sends it up ahead, but a little too hard, and the keeper, Katie Hess, is out to grab it. Hess kicks it away towards midfield, but intercepted by Poland. Poland sends it away to, oh, and there's a trip by Haffey. Ref will call that. It'll be a free kick of the spot for the Vikings. Taken by Marissa Poland, and the ball goes out of play. We're under 20 minutes to go here. About under 19 minutes, check that. In the second half of play, we remain scoreless in this Division III championship game. Ball's going to be thrown by Haley Caswell. Ball is centered, but the Dons break into the play and reject that ball before it's able to result in a scoring opportunity. We have a player down. I believe that's Stephanie Gray, and she's going to be tended to. She is slow to get up. She is up and walking. Looks like she took a blow to the midsection. She's holding her midsection. That's Gray on the heading attempt, but that goes way wide, so we'll do it again. We throw in for La Jolla Vikings. We are in a 0-0 deadlock here in the second half of this CIF Girls Division III Soccer Championship game. With it now in the middle is Crandall, but Crandall couldn't get a shot up before the ball was taken away from her. Ball goes all the way to Aaliyah Kirch. Kirch sends it back up ahead. Ball is headed up. Oh! Looked like the La Jolla player collided with the Don player. Nevertheless, the ball is centered, goes off of the defender, and it will result in a corner kick. So the player shaken up on that was Sarah Brush. She seems to be okay. She's up and walking. And meanwhile, the play continued, and it looks like we're going to have a corner kick. We will, for the La Jolla Vikings. Ball is kicked. Oh! The heading attempt came through, but the header went high and over the net. I believe that was Victoria Crandall on that heading attempt.
Number 2, Amy Hogan. And now on the line for the Dons.
So we have a substitution as Chagas goes out, and Hogan, number 2, comes in. is headed and out of play. Nice hustle attempt there by Marissa Poland. Ball's around midfield, spanked there by Hogan. Hogan sends it across looking for a streaking Fogarty, but Fogarty can't get there before it's sent out by the Vikings. So we'll have a throw-in at the far side of the field for the Dons. Here's a throw-in, taken by Gray. Gray sends it towards the net and wide, and nobody's going to get there. Will result in a goal kick for the Vikings. Pick up action now as the goal kick. Kirch is going to send it out to Caswell. Caswell's going to send it up where it's going to deflect and go to Green. Green sends it towards midfield where it's intercepted there by Terrell. Terrell, though, his ball is nifty little pass there to Snyder. Snyder tries to get Poland on a scoring chance on a little run there, but can't get there. Her pass is a little too far, and the keeper, Katie Hess, comes out and handles that. Hess's kick, though, is going to go out of bounds and will result in a throw-in for the Vikings. We are under 15 minutes to go here in this second half of play. And here's the throw-in. Ball's headed, but Billings is the only one there, and she'll send it back towards midfield where it's headed there by Gumbar. Goes towards the far sideline. Guzik is there and goes off of Kohnkamp's foot. Out of play. We'll have another throw-in, and we're still scoreless. Throw-in at the far side of the field for the Vikings. Ball's headed high into the air by the Dons. Headed back. Vikings trying to break through here. Ball rolls to Kinsell. Kinsell sends it over past midfield where Guzik's going to intercept it, kick it high into the air where Caswell is battling for it. He's battling against number 2, Amy Hogan, and we're going to have a whistle, I think, called on Caswell, so that'll be a free kick at the spot of the foul for that is, for the Dons. So the Dons have an opportunity here deep in Viking territory to break through. You got to think any goal now might be the winning goal, as either team has really had too many quality scoring chances. You kind of get the feeling with the way these two teams are defensively, there will not be many of those. Here's the free kick taken by Haffey. Here's her kick. Going toward the corner of the net and caught and handled nicely by the keeper, Audra Sullivan. Kick was curving around, but Sullivan was there to handle it. That wasn't going to be on net anyway because of the curve. Ball bounces as two players fall down trying to go for it. Ball headed by Tantillo, but the ball comes loose to Haffey. Haffey sends it across, goes underneath the leg of Guzik, where Kirch is going to go run it down. With it is number 4, Fogarty. She's working, and the ball will roll out of bounds before she's able to get a crack at it. So it'll be a goal kick for the Vikings. Ball now taken by the Vikings. Gombar with it. She tries to center it to number 2. The ball still loose in front. Ball is still loose, and the dive by Audra Sullivan is going to corral the ball and result in no scoring chance or opportunity for the Dons, so she'll kick it back out. And the ball will roll out of play. Ball will be thrown in. Amy Hogan, number 2, for the Dons. Ball's loose. Here's the Vikings scoring attempt, and that ball will go wide. Crandall had a nice shot on net. She looked like she might have taken it a bit earlier than she had to. She had some more room. So that scoring chance goes wide, and it'll be a throw-in, or check that, it'll be a free kick for the Dons. That'll be taken by 17, the sweeper, Angela Billings. We're approaching 10 minutes to go here in this second half action. We're still scoreless between the La Jolla Vikings and the University Dons. The Dons are in all the red uniforms. The Vikings are in the white shirts and the black trunks. Kicked out of bounds by Kirch, so there'll be a throw-in for the Dons. Trip there, we'll have a whistle called as Green's going to be the guilty party there. She tripped Gombar, so it'll be a free kick at that spot. Looked like Green might have gotten hit in the face.
Boss, get out of there! Boss!
Here's the free kick by Billings.
That away, Sarah!
Headed back out. Dons try and get it back in, but Vikings intercept. Taken by Sarah Brush. Ball will roll out, so it'll be a throw, another throw-in for the Dons. Here's a throw-in attempt by number 12. It's going to be Catherine Kinsell. Turning with it now. Nice play by Sarah Brush. With it is Terrell, who sends it deep looking for a streaking Fogarty, but she can't catch her. Ball will roll out, so a throw-in for the Vikings. Looks like there will be a substitution for the Vikings as off comes Brush and in comes Villa. Ball kicked high into the air. The goalie, Audra Sullivan. She's been very sharp today. Came out of her net there and corralled it before Amy Hogan could do anything with it. Ball is headed back nicely. Players batting for it. It's Gray, Stephanie Gray versus Snyder. Gray comes away with it, passes it over to a teammate, passes behind Hogan though. Ball comes all the way through to Fogarty. Fogarty sends it back. Nice play there by Tantillo to corral that ball. She does a nice move. She puts Gray right on the seat of her pants with that little dribble. She's still working with it. She loses the ball though as there's no teammates around to take a pass. Ball is sent back deep to Kirch. And the ball goes off of Gumbar, so for a throw-in for the Vikings. We're under 8 minutes to go here in this scoreless game. And if it remains scoreless, we will have overtime. So wind picks up a little bit out here. Players fall down. We'll have a whistle called on Snyder. We'll have a free kick for the Dons at that spot. Free kick taken by Billings. Ball's headed high into the air by Kohnkamp. Ball still loose. Aaliyah Kirch kicking it out of harm's way, so it will result in a throw-in for the Dons again. The Dons, Catherine Kinsell will throw it in. Kinsell throws it in.
It's a pack, it's in a white case.
Players battling for it there as Haffey gets away with a little shove. She sends it to a streaking Fogarty. Fogarty trying to... We pick up action now where Yvette Villa is working against a Don player. The ball is kicked back out by Alyssa Terrell. We are still scoreless, under 5 minutes to go here in the second half of play. As I said earlier, we will have overtime if these two teams end the regulation scoreless. So we'll have a whistle, be a throw-in for the Vikings. And we're going to have another whistle I'm not sure what the call is, but it will go over to the Vikings. It will be in favor of the Vikings. And here's the free kick. Headed out nicely by the Don defender. Kicked high into the air. Both players miss it. Chased down by Hogan. Hogan gets there working against Caswell. Caswell falling down, gets a kick on it to send it deeper in Don territory. Ball still in play, still in play. Nice job there. Vikings maintain control, trying to get something going. Oh, nice play there by Kinsell. Just stood her ground and took Poland off the ball. Ball is kicked back deep. Ball headed high. We're going to have a foul call. I think that's going to go against Villa for a hold. The ref says, not so fast. Let's get it back and do it again. Ball, as you hear the fans ooh and ah as players collided right there, and the ball didn't do much. Players pushing and shoving. Ball still around midfield. You get the sense that we might not see a goal with the way these teams are playing defense. Everything's contested. Ball now comes down to Terrell, who sends it back towards midfield for her teammate Gombar. Gombar working against Green. And Green sends it out of play, so Gombar will throw it in. You can see how well coached and disciplined these two teams are, as anytime one team gets a break, the other team makes sure they just get out of bounds to allow them to assemble their defensive troops. And oh, that was nearly a goal on kind of a fluky shot taken by the Dons, number 14, Melinda Haffey. She kind of hit it high into the air, and it was a wandering shot, kind of curving, and it just went wide. That was much more dangerous than it initially looked. You just might think that might be the kind of goal that's going to be scored in this kind of game, which is so defensively oriented. Poland couldn't corral that one. It'll go out of play, so the Dons again will have a crack at it. We're about a minute and a half unofficially to go in the game. As I said earlier, we will go into overtime if this game ends in a scoreless tie. Ball goes high into the air. Goes over to Poland. Poland has it, sends it over to Villa. And once goes out of bounds, there'll be another throw-in for the Dons. Thrown in by Kinsell. Just had word there is 1 minute remaining in regulation. Ball is kicked out of bounds. Ball is going to be thrown in by number 14, Melinda Haffey.
Let's go, come on, Mike! No foul!
We will have a foul called. There was people on the sidelines calling no foul. Here's the free kick. Here's the heading attempt. It's still loose. Oh, it comes out. That was dangerous there for just a few moments. Comes back down to Billings. Billings has had a terrific game down there in the super position. Hit back. I think the players sense the time is winding down and they're hurrying to try and get one last go at it. Ooh, a blast in the back taken by Snyder. Given by Snyder, and she'll get a foul called on her. And here's a free kick. Is kicked out. Again, safe play by the Vikings. It's time winding down here in regulation. Here's the throw-in by 14, Melinda Haffey. Goes to Haley Caswell. Ball was proceeding in Don territory, but swept out of there. Ball headed high into the air by Kohnkamp. It's difficult to get an offensive play when each team is sending so many people back defensively. Ball still loose, goes to Snyder. Snyder still with it, tries to get her teammate, Crandall. That's the whistle, signifying the end of regulation, and we will go to overtime in this girls' Division III championship final. And we are just about set to start the overtime session between the Vikings and the Dons. We played 80 minutes and we have not had a goal. Overtime rules are the following. It's sudden death. The first goal team wins the game. If there is no goal and they play two 15-minute halves, the game will end in a tie and each team will be awarded a co-championship. We pick up action in the near sideline. Some nice individual work. The ball is a whistle, though. Nice individual work there by Poland, who centered the ball, but we had a whistle. I think the ball went out of play before she centered it. So that will result in a goal kick taken by Billings, the sweeper for the Dons, who has had a very active game, been very solid. Ball goes down to number 1, Poland. She tries to do a little give and go with Snyder, but the ball will go past the end line for another goal kick. Billings with the goal kick. Goes over to Fogarty. Fogarty now sends it up ahead to Kohnkamp. Kohnkamp working against Guzik. Ball gets sent deep into Viking territory to Kirch. Aaliyah Kirch comes out to Green. Her pass towards midfield gets sent back in. She's got the ball back, though, and sends it out of play. Actually, it'll go off of a Don player, and it'll be a throw-in for the Vikings. Ball is put in play, sent deep into Viking territory where the keeper comes out and handles it. The keeper again is Audra Sullivan. The keeper on the Don side of the field is Katie Hess. She came in the second half and has remained in this overtime session. Dons have the ball. Nice play there, though, by the Vikings to send the ball out of play. That was Haley Caswell. Be a throw-in at the far sideline midfield for the Dons. Vikings retain possession over at midfield. The ball is sent back to Marissa Poland. Here comes Poland. She's working against Fogarty. Still working, going to try to center it. She does, gets through. Ball is centered. Here comes a shot on net. Goal! The game is over. Victoria Crandall is mobbed by her teammates as she put the ball in the far corner, and that means the La Jolla Vikings are the 1999 Girls Division III champions. They have beaten the University Dons and ended their streak of 8 consecutive championships. What a finish! Victoria Crandall on the goal. The dejected keeper, Katie Hess of the Dons, just having difficulty being consoled. She really had no chance on it. Just a terrific play by Crandall. And in dramatic fashion, the La Jolla Vikings defeat the University Dons in overtime to win the Division III Girls Championship.
Women's Division III Championship.
I'm David Goldberg with George Langevin Productions saying so long from Torrey Pines, where again the La Jolla Vikings in overtime defeat the University Dons for the CIF championship.
I'd like to direct your attention to the center of the field, where the University of San Diego High School Dons are going to be presented the Division III runner-up. The players for the Dons, wearing number 0 is Danielle Ralston. Number 2, Amy Hogan. Number 3, Brittany Jones. Number 4, Colleen Fogarty. Number 5, Kristen Moran. Number 6, Emily Gumbar. Number 7, Laura McKinnon. Number 8, Allison Gumbar. Number 9, Daniel Unger. Number 10, Angela Chagas. Number 11, Kristen Cohen. Number 12, Catherine Hinsel. Number 13, Katie Hess. Number 14,
Couldn't do anything about that goal, not a thing.
Number 15, Adriana Zani. Number 17, Angela Billings. Number 19, Alyssa Terrell. And number 21, Stephanie Gray. The head coach of the Dons is Dawn Lee, assisted by Dave Barr. Ladies and gentlemen, the Division
You got a good one
III
going, huh? Way to go.
runner-up, University of San Diego High
Nice
School
job,
Dons.
ladies. Nice job.
And the athletic director, Marissa. Number 2, Kelly Music. Number 3, Lindsay Green. Number 4, Haley Caswell. Number 5, Rachel Snyder. Number 6, Alexa Oscarina. Number 7, Alea Kirk. Number 8, Audra Sullivan. Number They